It appears the San Francisco 49ers coaching staff is going to be poached yet again. But something tells me most 49er fans aren't going to have too much of an issue with this one, just based on seeing all the comments and conversation that you guys have had about Brandon Staley over the last year. So let's talk about it. So according to multiple reports, including Adam Schefter, who just put it out right as I'm making this video, it appears that Brandon Staley is the leading candidate to become the defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. As we know, it was just announced today, Kellen Moore, former offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles, will become the head coach of the Saints. And based on his relationship with Brandon Staley, it appears he is going to bring him over to be the defensive coordinator. In a bit of a shocking move, because Brandon Staley hasn't interviewed for a defensive coordinator job since he's been fired as the head coach of the Chargers. But that is where the relationship begins. I believe when Brandon Staley was the head coach for the Chargers, Kellen Moore was his offensive coordinator for one season. So they've actually worked together. Staley was actually Kellen Moore's boss, and now it's going to flip. Now Kellen Moore is going to be Staley's boss. So obviously there's a relationship there. Staley gave Kellen Moore a chance to be the OC with the Chargers. Only lasted one season. But it sounds like he is going to head over there. And as we know, the 49ers have moved on from Nick Sorensen. Nick Sorensen is a special teams coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. We had already heard reports that the 49ers weren't going to retain Brandon Staley, and this is going to kind of solidify that, as he will be the defensive coordinator for the Saints. I expect that report to come out any minute now. Like typically when we hear these types of, well, this guy's the leading candidate, they put that out first, and then shortly after they dropped he's official. He's officially been inked as the Saints defensive coordinator. So like I said, I would imagine that I've already seen some of the comments on the Instagram post. You can see some of the gifs already. No one is upset about this. It's just been kind of a running thing, just based on his perception as he was originally hired. I think, I'll be honest with you. I think 49er fans have been a little harsh on Brandon Staley, just because I don't even think 49er fans really know what he does. Matt Barrows talked about how he was kind of the nickel cornerback coach, basically. So he coached up slot corners. And I think, I believe he was assistant head coach as well. But with the 49ers bringing in Robert Saleh, Gus Bradley's probably going to take over that role as assistant head coach. I would assume, or maybe Saleh. We'll see. And then Brant Boyer as special teams coordinator. The 49ers have put together a pretty solid staff. And guys like Brandon Staley, Nick Sorensen just aren't needed anymore. So I'm glad they've been able to find jobs. I'm not particularly as harsh on these two, Sorensen and Staley, as the fan base is, which is why I'm not surprised that both of them still got coordinator jobs. But I think 49er fans, just with how things have gone the last two seasons, I think it's just refreshing for fans. I think it's refreshing to get guys in that have good reputations, that have experience, and have done it before at the highest level. So I think that's just really what it comes down to. Is I've always said it's really hard to judge coaches unless you're actually sitting under their coaching, because you don't really know what they're doing from the outside looking in, and what they're responsible for and what they're not, what they're coaching, what they're not coaching, if that makes sense. So it is what it is. But hey, I'm excited to see what the comments say. So let me know what you guys feel about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.